are starting what has become an annual tradition in the Like Whoa household, which is the week of Christmas, I just do a cozy vlog. And I think you guys, just based on the timing of when this goes up, we'll be well into the new year. But I think, end and beginning of the year is time for coziness. It's time to, hunker down and reflect on the year that was and think about the year to come. It's a time to celebrate with your friends and family, even if you're not celebrating the holidays, just that it's the end of the year. So yeah, I have started doing this kind of cozy-ish vlog at the end of the year, and I have pulled a little stack of books I'm hoping to get through. I also have other things. I probably am not going to read every single one of these, but I already did my family Christmas, so this is nice and quiet, cozy Mara Christmas. I may go do something with one of my friends on Christmas Day, but we'll see how that works out. Anyway, I love cozy Christmas, and we are going to be reading some books. I'm going to be knitting. I'm going to be ball winding. I don't know if you guys can see, but I got a Swift. So I've got some yarn to wind. I might do some sewing, might do some embroidery. I'm going to do a lot of cooking. I'm going to do a lot of relaxing with the kitty cats. So I also need to clean up because this place is a mess I haven't unpacked fully from when I was at home for Christmas, and I've got a bunch of boxes that have built up, so I also need to do some chores. But anyway, this is just going to be cozy times around the house. So in terms of what I'm hoping I'm going to get through, I have pulled a bunch of cozy books. So I have a few that I can't tell you about because they are for projects that are coming up, but I can tell you about a few of the ones I pulled. So I definitely am going to read The Christmas Guest by Peter Swanson. I think this is going to be my Christmas Eve evening novella, because this is super short. It's not even 100 pages, so this will just be a one night kind of read. I pulled the new Percy Jackson book because I've been saving it up for when I have time. This is shorter than the other Percy Jackson books, and my understanding is that this comes after the Heroes of Olympus series, but before the Trials of Apollo series, which is where I'm at. So I'm excited to revisit my pals in Percy Jackson land. Then I also have Cackle by Rachel Harrison. This I got because I was supposed to read it for a work book club, but then I had an important meeting that got scheduled over book club, so I knew I wasn't going to be able to go, so I didn't end up reading it. But I've heard that this is light, fun horror, and I think that could be kind of a cozy-ish horror, if such is a thing. That feels like that's what that is. I have the Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, a novel by Heather Fawcett. So I've heard some people saying this is overrated, but I don't know. I'm optimistic. It's supposed to be cozy fantasy, and I think it also has a romantic component. Got a curmudgeonly professor journeying to a small town in the far north to study fairy folklore and discover dark magic, friendship, and love. So there you go. I'm hoping that will resonate with me. One that I've been trying to get to all year is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. This is one that sounds very similar to The Rook, but queer. So I'm way excited for this, and I'm really hoping I get to that. I realized that I had not read, this is my last full Rebecca Roanhorse novel I have to read before I get to the last book, which is Mirrored Heavens, which I may already have a copy of. Oh my gosh. So I thought that might be kind of fun to read. The last book from Rebecca Roanhorse I have to read, so I'm fully caught up on her oeuvre. And then the book I think is going to be my Christmas Day book is The Mysterious Case of the Alberton Angels by Janice Hallett. This is another one that I have been trying to get to all year, and it just never worked out because of all the different mystery projects I had going. But I am hopeful this might be a 4.5 or a 5 star. So I feel like that would be a good Christmas Day gift to myself. It is, multimedia, so I love that. I've really enjoyed the other 3 things I've read from this author. This is the UK edition. I believe this is coming out in the US at the beginning of next year. So I'm excited. Yeah, I'm really hoping that I love this. because I think this sounds lovely. And I am finally ready to get back into mysteries a little bit after binging in the Goodreads Choice Awards. So those are the books I can tell you about that are on my TBR. This is going to be about a week. Work is like super chill. This is technically a work day, but nothing is going on. I'm fully caught up on everything. And so I'm just kind of like making sure nothing goes too off the rails today, because we do technically still have operations going, but there's not a lot for me to do other than be on call. So I'm going to do some cooking today. I'm going to do some reading. Yeah, I will see where our cozy vibes take us, but you are officially on the cozy train. So all aboard, toot toot, let's do this. Operation Cozy is going so well so far. So I'm heating up some lunch. I'm heating up some leftover enchiladas, which I made yesterday. And it was just so nice to like take my time and cook in the middle of a day. It was lovely. God, what else did I do? I did a lot of chores yesterday. So I did some laundry, did a bunch of recycling. I got a take me back bag, which like actually properly disposes of clothing, even like stained clothes, ripped. They'll do undergarments and socks. So I'll let you guys know how that goes. But since I've learned more about making clothes and care and consideration, I try to be much more conscientious about bringing things in. But I'm like this, hopefully, if it goes well and everything ships through, this will be a good way for me to like feel better about letting go of clothes that I accumulated before I had the consciousness that I have now, or just that don't like fit anymore or are not repairable or whatever. So, pause. But yeah, so I did that, and dishes and recycling and trash and litter box. Like, I did a bunch of my chores that are just not fun. I was on call for work anyway. I figured that, was a good time to do some of those less fun things. I had a nice cuddle puddle this morning with the kitties. We just lounged in bed. It was heavenly. And I've also gotten some reading done. So I read and finished yesterday Cackle by Rachel Harrison. And this was like totally fine. This was, I think cozy horror is probably the right way to put it, because it's a small town. There is a horror element. Our main character, Annie, has just gone through a breakup, like a bad breakup. And so she took a job, I think that they were in New York, and she's moving to like upstate New York. And in this small town, there's this woman named Sophie who's so charming and beautiful, but everybody seems kind of scared of her. What's going on? And as you can probably surmise from the cackle bit, it is a witch tale. And I thought it was good. I thought it, cozy horror is how I would describe it. I wouldn't say it's like super scary. So if you're a little bit of a scaredy cat, which I can be, some things do get to be too much for me. This could be a good one. Yeah, this is just not that memorable. It's pretty short, but honestly, I think it would have been better as a novella. So it probably could have been even shorter. And it was fine. I'd give it like 3 stars. Thought it, by the end had some interesting commentary on our perception of like single women historically, like the whole association of independent women being condemned as witches, especially if you've read some of the like nonfiction about the history of witches, definitely in the kind of shift from feudalism to early capitalism, that whole change in perception of like women who were able to be midwives or like have some kind of independent sustenance definitely changed. So anyway, fine, not mad I read it, but not memorable. 3 stars, it was fine. And then I've only got a couple chapters left in the latest entry in the I Married a series from Regine Abel, because I just noticed last night that a new one had come out. So I started it, and then I finished most of it this morning. And I'm not totally done, but I think I'm going to give it like 3.5. I thought the plot in this one was really good. The world building was cool. I think the connection between the main characters, like, I'm starting to believe more as the book goes on, but I'm not totally sure. So it's, this one is I Married an Incubus. So that's fun. I do think, considering I was sold that this is an incubus story, there has not been nearly as much sex as I feel like that title suggests there's gonna be. So, I mean, I kind of feel like Regine Abel is giving me a little bit of sex demon blue balls with this, but it is interesting. It's a, so in this world, these incubus-like aliens, they run a prison planet called Mulvey, and our heroine, whose name is Malaya. That's right, yeah, Malaya. She is of Filipino descent. We get some things about her cultural customs, which I thought was cool. She is an investigative reporter who is about to take down this corrupt judge who was one of these incubus-like aliens, and he finds out and he frames her for murder and is sending her to this part of the prison planet where she will surely be killed within like a week. But there's this like matchmaking agency that arranges matches, and they intervene on her behalf, and she is married to essentially one of the like wardens of part of the planet because he's her soulmate. So they're trying to like work together to prove that she was wrongfully accused and take down this corrupt judge, because part of their species is that they have like impeccable sense of justice, and they're like they're very letter of the law rule followers. So that's why they're like known for their justice, and they run a lot of the like court systems for big things in the galaxy. So like no one believes her. that one of them could be corrupted and it's gonna have big implications if she can prove it. So anyway, that part I think is cool. The world building's cool. I wish that I had more sex going on, considering it's an incubus-like alien. And I also wish that I got more personal connection between the two of them. So yeah, but I think it's good. I've got a couple chapters left. So far it's feeling like a 3.5. But yeah, I love that series, so I was excited to see. There was a new one that I didn't know about. So yeah, so after that, I think I'm going to do a hard pivot in terms of tone and start the Percy Jackson book. But anyway, I'm going to eat my lunch, and then I need to go pick up a prescription. But I think I should have some good reading, knitting time today. Oh, I also need to set up this, I got a tunnel, like a cat tunnel for under the tree. Because I saw somebody on TikTok doing that as a way to keep the cats out of the bottom of the tree, which I think is genius. So I'm gonna try very late in the game to set that up and see if it helps. It surely will be more aesthetically pleasing than what I have going on now, which is just to pile a bunch of crap underneath the tree. So I'll try that to see if that could be a good deterrent for next year when I put the tree up. So anyway, lunch, reading, cats, joy of just having very little I have to do. Oh, maybe I'll edit speaking of things I have to do, maybe I'll edit the latest episode of Watoot, because it's about sister wives, and that should be fun to listen back to. So anyway, we'll see. Hi. Apologies for the horrible angle, but I'm working with what I got here. Okay. I started Percy Jackson, and I'm already obsessed. It's so comforting. It's just so wonderful. Okay. And I was thinking as Percy is gonna have to go on 3 quests in order to get the college recommendations he needs to go to New Rome University, which I think is very funny. And the way that was set up was very amusing. Uncle Rick just makes me laugh. What can I say? I'm a 36-year-old woman and he's making me laugh. But it was so sweet because he was thinking about how all he wants to do is go to New Rome University with Annabeth. And I was like, why is it that I ship Percy and Annabeth so much together? They do have romance, like, I believe that there is romance there, but it just feels like so age appropriate and like sweet. And I truly believe they will be together forever. And right when I was thinking that, I was like, why? Usually I don't like romance in middle grade or young adult books. Like it's just not for me normally. But he then had like a little paragraph that I was like, yes, this is why I believe it. Occasionally somebody would ask me if I ever dated anybody else besides Annabeth, or if I ever thought about dating someone else. Honestly, the answer is no. When you've helped each other through Tartarus, the deepest and most horrifying place in the universe, and you've come out alive and stronger than you were to begin with, well, that isn't a relationship you could ever replace, or should ever want to. Yeah, okay, so I wasn't even 18 yet. Still, no one knew me better, or put up with me more, or held me more together as Annabeth, and I knew she could say the same about me. Because if I were slacking as a boyfriend, she would let me know real quick. And that just sums it up. I mean, like, they have just, if you have read these first two series, the shit these two have been through together, like, who else are they gonna be with? Like, hello? Like, I think they are stuck with each other for good or ill. So I think they're adorable. I love that he really wants to do these quests so that he can make sure that they can go to college together. I would actually love for him to fast forward in time and give us the next gen of Annabeth and Percy's kids and their adventures, because I think that would be interesting. But anyway, now that I can stop shipping these protagonists in this middle grade fantasy book, let me continue to read. Not me getting teared up again at a Percy Jackson book. Okay, this was great. So one of the critiques I have of the Percy Jackson original series, and definitely of the Heroes of Olympus, is that I do think pacing-wise, sometimes they're a little long. This was perfectly paced, and what a beautiful message. I just love the subtle ways that Uncle Rick incorporates critiques of the original books. I think it shows like a lot of maturity to be able to like accept criticism of your work and like think, oh, well, I didn't consider that, but now that you bring it up, there, okay. I think in the original, especially the first book, but like in the original series, I think that there's some valid criticism of like Percy like not valuing his mom's life seriously enough in some scenarios, or like it not like having enough consideration of kind of like her situation. Also, this acknowledges the fucked upness of Zeus and his shenanigans. Yeah, I don't know, just some of those things I thought were, as a side note, very interesting. But this is like, it's Percy at the precipice of being an adult. And in this world, once you make it to adulthood, you're in a much like safer territory, basically. So demigods, as they enter their teen years up through when they become an adult, that's like when they're at their most vulnerable, they get attacked all the time. That's like a part of the deal. And he's about to be an adult. So like him and Annabeth, like this is a lot about them like really looking to their future. Like they openly talk about like they expect to get married and have a life together, which is very sweet. They're constantly being like telling each other they love each other. And it's like they deserve that. If you've been on the journey with these characters, it's like, God, do they deserve to have a happy adult life together someday? But it's like Percy really considering that. And, you know, his mom and her new husband are kind of starting a new phase of life. And there's this scene that made me cry because it was just about like existentialism and the reality of death, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, or like that aging is not a bad thing, or having a long life with people you love is a beautiful thing to like, and frankly a privilege to get to experience. So this was a beautiful lesson for young people who might still be who might read the series when they're young, and for those of us who are older reading it, it was also a beautiful reminder of like the value and beauty of aging. So like, I think I'm giving this a 4.5. This was great. I love this. And I don't see a pub date yet for the other two books that I assume are coming, because the setup is he has to go on these quests to get these college recommendation letters. He needs to get 3. This was him getting 1 from Ganymede. So we'll see what happens next. But Uncle Rick, man, he like sneaks, he makes me laugh, and then he like sneaks up and hits me in the feels when I'm least expecting it. So this was definitely a very big success. Hi guys. So I just took a shower, thus beginning the hours-long process of getting the hair dry, which is why I only wash my hair like twice a week. But I've been hanging, doing some work, reading, and I'm like on the verge of DNFing this, which makes me so sad because it's Rebecca Roanhorse and like I love her, but this is, I don't know, it's like, I guess it's a compliment to her that she's able to follow the house style guide, whatever. When you're doing some kind of IP work, you have to be able to blend in with the series, and I think she's doing a pretty good job of that, but in the process it's like lost most of what I like about her writing. I mean, it's competent, it's good, it's just like it doesn't feel like her. And then it happens after The Last Jedi, but before The Rise of Skywalker. And I wonder if I had read it at the time, if it would have felt a little bit more suspenseful. But because I know where it's going, I don't know. I'm gonna give it like one more chapter, but I think I'm gonna DNF it. So anyway, just thought I would check in and tell you that, and we'll see how it goes. Well, that's just a very easy read. So The Christmas Guest is like not even 100 pages. And I did want to mention, it makes me laugh, there are 3 different title pages, 2 of which are identical. So you have The Christmas Guest, then you have a double, a twofer, and then some dedication, a quote, and you have the exact same one again. So they're clearly trying to pad this out a little bit to justify, I think this was like $15. And I do also want to mention he had like a little afterwards of why he wanted to write it. And it mentions that I am embodying his imagined reading experience, because it says, often when I write, I picture my ideal reader. For The Christmas Guest, I imagine someone on Christmas Eve, the dinner dishes cleaned, one last eggnog in hand, a comfy chair, and a dying fire. I don't have the nog or the dying fire, but the dinner dishes are mostly clean, and I did have a comfy chair. So this is so short that I don't really want to get into details about it. It is pitched as a sort of country house mystery in the Cotswolds at Christmas. There's an American student staying with one of her British classmates who's invited her home for Christmas since she's not going back to America that year. Yeah, the first half of it is that student's diary and the back half is a different point of view. And there are things, this is good. So, okay, I first want to say, I salute the concept that this is a novella. And I think more publishers should be more open to doing things like this. Because I think sometimes these mysteries get way padded out and they just feel like they're dragging on. This did not feel like it was dragging on, and I appreciated that. The issue is I literally figured out what was going on. Let's see. What page? Okay, flipping past all these title pages again. On page 3, I was like, oh, I bet this is the ultimate solution. Yes, even though I know nothing about the crime. So that's a little bit of a problem. So there you go. I mean, was it Christmassy? Yeah, I would say so. It's a beautiful book. I'm not mad I read it, but it's also not super impactful. So I'll give it like a 3 and we'll call it there. I mean, it's a beautiful book, so I think I'm gonna hold on to it, but yeah, this did not like change my life. Though tomorrow is Christmas, and I'm gonna treat myself to The Mysterious Case of the Alberton Angels, which I have on good authority from Meg with Books. She thinks I'm gonna love. I've been putting it off all year, waiting for the perfect moment, and tomorrow is the perfect moment. So I'm very excited about that, and yeah, me and the kitties are just gonna enjoy our Christmas Eve. I need to figure out what my plans are for tomorrow. Anyway, Merry Christmas Eve. This was fine, hoping for better tomorrow. Well, hello, and Merry Christmas. Christmas has come and gone. I'm sorry, I forgot to film things because I was swept up in the magic of the day. But it means that I have one last advent calendar item to open, so I thought we could do that together. Oh, okay, it's like a little, oh, that's so cute. It's from the library of stickers. These are so cute. This, I will say, my overall review of this, because I've been opening this on shorts, and then obviously in this vlog, I think that this is super cute. Is it something that I think a reader should get themselves? I would probably say no. But I think that this is a great gift. My cousin sent this to me, and I think that it was super thoughtful, and I love advent calendars as gifts because it feels like you're giving them an experience, and I feel like she definitely did that. So if you're looking for a gift for a bookish person, I think that this was a good one. I think she got this from Uncommon Goods. At least that's where the shipping was from when it came. But anyway, it's done now, but I thought that this was super fun. So now on to, the most important thing, which is I read 2 books yesterday. One was a palette cleansing book after I finished the main one, which was this, and that was Stranded with an Alien Vampire, I believe was the name of it, by Michelle Mills. It was there's only one bed, mating alien winter book, and it was fine. It was cute, fine, quick, Wattpad fanfiction-esque, which is what I wanted. 3 stars. It was fine. This book is so good. It comes out so this is my copy, which I got from the UK. It comes out here in the States in January, and I am officially putting out the call to all of my fellow mystery girlies, she's, he's, and theys out there. We need to make this a thing. Like, between this and the new Benjamin Stevenson one, like, we need to support these, get it from your library, this is what I want to see. This is an actual mystery. It was so fun, and it was, I just loved it. It was so good. It was 5 stars, and I'm like, this is what I want. Like, where are these books getting a big push? And it feels so satisfying because with the Appeal and the Twyford Code, both of them, I was like, you know what, Janice, like, I see it in you. Like, one day you're gonna have one that just, like, completely clicks for me. And those I gave 4 and 3.5 stars to, and I enjoyed them, and I was like, oh, these are fun. They're actually mysteries. Love this. This had the pacing, it had the fun multimedia, the mystery I thought was like sufficiently complex to make it fun. It had like reveals. It was making me think about the difference between what I think of as a twist versus a reveal, because there are things that this does that I think are fun and unexpected, but it doesn't have... The book doesn't position it the same way I feel like Domestic Suspense does, where it's like, dun dun dun, didn't I fool you? Isn't this just like the best twist you've ever read? That's not the vibe. The vibe is like, yes, you've been on this journey, and like, here's one last little piece of information to help you put everything together. Like, so good. Okay, so it's multimedia. It is a woman who has been commissioned to write a true crime book about an infamous cult mass unaliving of oneself event from about 20 years prior. It's just her like digging into the story. We get lots of little asides from her research assistant named Ellie that I thought were fun. There's like little, like this book has a personality. It has some humor. I think that this works better for an international audience than the first two books did. This felt a little bit more specifically British in its references. This feels a little more like, it doesn't have as many specific references, I guess. And Twyford Code in particular was highly reliant on having familiarity with specific British accents because it was a transcript of voice recordings that you were reading. And if you don't know how a British accent would say a word, it would create this moment where I had to like really think about what word was so this doesn't have that. It's more just like general cult story, and I loved it. It was so good. It was so good. And like I said, it had reveals, but they weren't just like things I could never have guessed were gonna happen. It was just like the unveiling. Maybe it's like a slow, the light is going over the painting and I can see more and more of it, and then all of a sudden the light comes on in the room and you can see the full thing. Versus I feel like maybe a twist is I showed you one thing and then I changed it while I was having you look at something else, and then when the lights come on you're like, wait, that's not what that was. Did any of that make sense? I don't know. Anyway, 5 stars. Love this. So good. And I loved it as like a full day read because I had some stuff in the morning and then like I settled in it with this in the afternoon and just like marinated. This was so good. I feel like I need to end the vlog here because it kind of doesn't feel fair to keep going. I don't know. Okay, I feel like I want to at least read the Encyclopedia Fairy one just because I showed that to you. So I guess I'll read that and then we'll be done. But it kind of feels anticlimactic because it's like, I was just looking. I give out 6 5-stars out of 268 books that were eligible for my best of the year list for 2023. Like, I don't give out a lot of 5 stars, so this feels like an event. I'm trying to think if I ever had a 5-star in a vlog. I guess The Last Devil to Die. Yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. Okay, I'll read one more book. And then I think we should quit while we're ahead. Because what is gonna top this? Nothing. Americans, get your butt to the library or your local bookstore and buy this book when it comes out. If you want to support mysteries actually having a big push, because it's like, yes, publishing, give me more of this. Like, when you tell me it's a mystery, give me something like this. Don't give me a fucking domestic suspense, rich people cheating on each other. I am sick of it. Give me an actual fucking mystery. Okay. I'll check in with the last book. doing a McKay's run because I just realized that my unhaul closet was overflowing. Like, whenever I opened the door, books would fall out, which I decided, look guys, it doesn't bother me if like somebody just walks by, but someone's like backing up, they can just stare at me and it feels very awkward. Anyway, my unhaul closet was like literally overflowing, and so I decided it was time that we needed to do an unhaul. It was a little earlier, but that's good. That means I was doing good getting rid of books. So that is on the agenda for today. I have a few things I need to do for work to prep for next week, so I'll probably do that. But in terms of reading, where we're at, so I got distracted from Emily Wilde's, whatever, I can never remember the name of it, the encyclopedia one. I'm about 50 pages in and I'm definitely vibing with it. Like, it's very cute, it's very voicey. I'm excited to find out what the heck is going on with Wendell, but I'll let you guys know. So it's Emily Wilde is this professor of like Fae, and she's in this remote northern clime, which I should probably look up where this is actually supposed to be. I'm inferring that it's in like Iceland, but maybe it's in like Norway or something. And she is trying to find this specific kind of fae for her encyclopedia. It's the last thing she needs before the manuscript will be approved. And she's super smart. I'm inferring she is potentially neurodivergent. Like, that's somewhat how it reads. Or she's like minimally, she like became a professor at 22, so she's like a genius. So maybe, I can't quite tell yet if she's neurodivergent or if she's just like so smart and therefore like missed a lot of the like normal childhood milestones one would have. I don't know. So yeah, and then she has like this person she views as a rival, but you clearly as the reader can tell he like is way into her, named Wendell, who's coming. So yeah, anyway, it's cute. I'm into it. But I got distracted because, oh my gosh, okay, sorry, I forget where I was, because there was this guy who came and sat in his car right next to me for like 5 minutes, just chilling, not doing anything. I know I'm sitting in my car chilling, not doing anything, but I'm waiting. I'm not about to just like leave without going and whatever. Anyway, so I think I was about to say I got distracted because for some reason I felt like this urge to go ahead and read my arc for Bride by Ali Hazelwood. It was an interesting reading experience because I definitely think that this voice, or like this subgenre, completely makes sense for her authorial voice. It's a paranormal romance, and there's like this kind of arranged, it's a marriage, but it's sort of like a hostage exchange type situation between this vampire woman and this were man. He's the alpha, she's the daughter of the leader of the vampires. He is gigantic, for those of you wondering, but she is the same height as him. So nice little mix up there. Or like, is she the same height? She's really tall. Anyway, it's so, okay, so I think it's okay, I have critique. I'm trying to figure out how to talk about this. I have critiques of it, but I flew through it. Like, I thought it was really fun. But I definitely, you can tell it's her first time writing in that genre. Like, there's definitely some kind of like awkwardness in terms of how the world building is unfurled, and some of the plotting and the pacing of the plot. But it was like, it really, she has that AO3 fanfic, yummy candy aspect to her writing, and I just eat it up. Oh my gosh. So I would give it like a 3.5. It probably is honestly more like a 3, but I had a good time. What can I say? Like I said, there's some problems with it. I'm not sure. I wouldn't recommend it to you if you already know you don't like her writing. I think if you know you like her writing, it's definitely worth trying. And I think I'm definitely going to read the epilogue. There's a clear setup for a follow-up, and I will definitely read that because I think she has like some of the world building down now. So I think that the follow-up possibly could be a little more straightforward. Other thing that kept me personally from really like fully loving this, but I know other people will like it more than I did, is that it's an enemies to lovers based on that setup. And it's less like lighthearted paranormal, and it's more angsty paranormal. And I tend to be more of a lighthearted paranormal kind of girly. Like, I don't love the angst as much. So that is just like not my favorite version of a paranormal, but I think I'm in the minority there. Like, I believe most people really enjoy like angsty paranormal. So yeah. Anyway, I think that if you like Allie Hazelwood, you should definitely try this one. And I will read the follow-up, because I think now that she's got the world established, I think maybe it'll like flow a little bit better in subsequent books. So I finished that, and then I got my hold for Except for Palestine from the library. So I have been working on that as audio, and I meant to bring my knitting with me so that I could keep listening and knit while I sit here and wait for the order to be done. But I'll just have to give it I focus on audio best if I have something else going on. So maybe I'll do like some mahjong or something on my phone, because yeah, it's very dense, I would say, in terms of it's definitely like poli-sci, like really digging into the political rhetoric of why progressive politics always have a carve-out exception for Palestine. In terms of like values and ideals, it's always everything but Palestine count. Sorry, I had to answer a work email real quick. What was I saying? Oh, just that it's a good book, but it's very dense. So I'm finding it very interesting and edifying, but I would also say it definitely is like, it requires some concentration and thought. So recommended if you like. I think that this is genuinely wrestling with why in progressive politics is there always this carve out. Some of the discussion about what does it mean to like recognize Israel's right to exist, and like like from a poli-sci perspective, what does that actually mean, and why is that something that's unique to Israel and something that no other country is doing? I don't know. So it's interesting. Lots to mull on, lots to chew on. So anyway, I'm about halfway through that, and I'll keep listening to it. Should probably go check, actually. They may be getting kind of close now that I'm looking at the time to being done with my order. So I'll go take a look at that. But yeah, I have to go drop off my take back bag to the post office. But other than that, almost done with my little excursion, and then I'll be a nice little busy bee at work and hopefully do some reading after work. So, finally finished Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. And I think that means we can finally end this vlog. I never really know where to end these kinds of cozy vlogs that don't have like a project, because there doesn't feel like there's a narrative arc. But there was a moment where we talked about this being the last book to read for it. So, I did finish Except for Palestine, which I did enjoy. I already told you guys quite a bit about it. So anyway, 4 stars, good. A little more technical than I think a lot of people are looking for, but I found it enlightening. So I have such mixed feelings about this because this took me forever to get through, considering it's so short, because I just like never fully got in the flow. But when I was reading it, I was enjoying it. So I don't know. I think some of this is a Fae thing. I am, not that the Fae are like cursing me to not be able to read Fae things, but rather that I conceptually like the idea of Fae, but I wonder if it's sort of like how Tolkien is my one basic bitch fantasy love, and he kind of ruined basic bitch medieval doorstopper fantasy for me. I kind of feel like The Perilous Guard by Elizabeth Marie Pope is like my one Fae book that I love, and nothing has ever been as good. I don't know. I never end up loving that as sort of like the mystical creature at the basis of a story as I want to. So I don't know. Anyway, I definitely found the writing really charming. I would definitely call this cozy fantasy because we get to know like all the villagers in this remote northern clime. You know, there's definitely kind of like a found family element by the end of it. So I definitely think that this is cozy fantasy, but I mostly liked this for the romantic element. Like I am invested in Wendell and Emily and where that piece of things leaves off. So I'm gonna give this like a 3.5, but more of a like, probably this is more like a 4-star book, but because of my own whatever, I'm just rating it a little bit more low than I feel like it deserves. But this is good, and I think I'm gonna wait to hear back from people on what all goes down in the second book in terms of, do we get some resolution to the romance? If we do, I may pick up the second one. If we don't, I may stop here. So I don't know. But anyway, this was good, and I can definitely see why it's hyped. There's a lot to like in this. It just didn't end up being, I don't know. I struggled with it for reasons unknown. Anyway, so that means I've read a lot of things over the last week, but the biggest, well, this I DNF'd, so I guess that's definitionally the most disappointing. This I gave 3. It was fine. This I gave 3, I think. Good. Fine. And then 3.5, this is good. I would recommend it. And then I had 2 big hits, I feel like, which were Percy Jackson and The Chalice of the Gods and The Mysterious Case of the Alberton Angels. These were my 2 biggest hits. This is a 4.5, this is a 5. So I honestly think to have a 4.5 and a 5 in one vlog is pretty rare. So that feels exciting. Also, check out my pretty new rug that I'm trying to keep the cats from learning to scratch. We'll see how successful I am in that. I think that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed my annual cozy vlog. And I guess I'll see you for the same video next year, probably. I don't know. I hope you guys had a great holiday season and a great new year, and that you are charging into 2024, guns a-blazing, ready to take on the world. But either way, even if you're not ready, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, follow me on the social medias if you are so inclined. I have all that information listed in the description box below, and I think that will do it. I hope you're having an absolutely lovely day, and I will just talk to you soon. Bye!